Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Earlier today, Husker football tight end Thomas Fedoni was named to the John Mackey Award watch list. The Mackey Award is presented annually to the nation's most outstanding collegiate tight end. Center Ben Scott was also named to a watch list today. Scott was named to the Remington Trophy watch list for the second straight season. This award is presented to the top center in the nation. Husker soccer has their final exhibition game tonight on the road at Oklahoma. Kickoff is slated for 7 Central. Nebraska softball has added a new piece to their coaching staff today. Allie Light joins the staff as a graduate assistant after she completed her playing career at San Diego State this past spring. Light was the Mountain West Pitcher of the Year in 2023. Plenty of Olympics news and notes once again from today. Let's start with the news about Huskers. Axelina Johansson finished 10th overall in the shot put today with a throw of 18.03 meters for Sweden. Elsewhere on the track, American Rye Benjamin won the 400-meter hurdles gold. The U.S. women's basketball team defeated Australia 85-64 to advance to the gold medal game on Sunday. Brianna Stewart led the team with 16 points. And in men's volleyball, the U.S. defeated Italy in 3 sets to win the bronze medal. So as it stands right now, the U.S. leads the medal count with a total of 111 medals, including 33 golds. China is second with 82 medals and also has 33 golds, and Australia is third in gold medals with 18. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich gonna step in back, little G belly action. As a man wide open, it's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska's serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left, Nebraska. Harper, and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over, block back by Becker, and that does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a 3 on the way. Got it again! Another 3. Williams on fire.
Yeah, Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer. You betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's out of strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome into the show. I am Jessica Coody. Greg Sharpe has the night off tonight. We will try to make this a party show, maybe half of a party show since Greg's out tonight. But Camden and I will be holding down the fort for you tonight. So we got lots and lots of football talk coming up for you over the next couple hours. The football team had another media availability today. Both E.J. Barthel and Garret McGuire, running backs, wide receivers, coaches, met with the media today. So we will hear from both those coaches. I had a chance to chat with one of the transfer wide receivers who probably going to be a big part of this offense coming up this season, Isaiah Neyor. We'll hear that conversation also in hour number 1. And in hour number 2, we're going to hear from our good friend Damon Benning, dive into a lot of different things with him. So should be a fun show and lots of great stuff coming up for you. Nebraska soccer, the 6th-ranked team in the country, their final exhibition game tonight at Oklahoma. Camden and I have been digging, and there is no stream. There are no stats. So we will be checking how we can and giving you updates throughout the show. They have, I guess, the game time is at 7 o'clock, so in the second hour. But yes, they are in action tonight. Final exhibition game before have their home opener next Thursday. We're going to hear from someone from Nebraska soccer next week. But Camden, you're going to just have to, I guess, check in on social media, right?
Yeah, I'll be paying attention to it, especially, like I said, once it starts at 7. Hopefully they can just score 5 goals in the first half while we're on the air, and then we won't have to worry about it after. Yeah,
then we won't just, well, I think it's 0-0, but not sure. But, yes, just rack up the goals again and keep it easy. So, Camden, again, will keep an eye on that for us here in hour number 2. But we did want to get things rolling here tonight, hearing from the football coaches. So we're going to kick things off here in our first segment with a fall camp practice report.
It's time for the Nebraska football practice report.
Getting out of, boot camp and getting to football is probably exciting for them, but also relief because I know a lot of these guys, the guys that came back, they came back because they want to get to the season.
All right, so we are going to start with E.J. Barthel, running backs coach. He had a lot to say about a lot of his guys. We're going to maybe just stick it to the overall running back here, the theme here over these next few clips. But, he's talking about Gabe Irvin and Ramir Johnson and coming off the injury. And he first of all talked about how it might take a little bit for them to feel 100%. It's not going to happen in practice 2, practice 10, but managing that. But he was asked about just the maturity of having those 2 guys in the room, what that does and what that provides to a running back's room.
I was fortunate enough to be assistant running back coach in Carolina and got a chance to work with McCaffrey and Coach McCaffrey a lot. So the best in the world, in my opinion. So the maturity of the group, I'd say, especially the guys that have been with me, we're at the point now where I think last year as a staff and as an offense, I was, and Coach Rule, myself, and Coach Satt, we were trying to establish the way we run the ball, our DNA of running the ball. They had to learn that last year. I think the maturity, to answer your question, point now is now we've kind of shift gears. They know the standard of how we run the ball. They understand the run schemes. They understand where their eyes need to be. Now it's about the details and focusing and harping on the second level reads, making guys miss in open space. How do we cut properly? Your first year, you don't have that much time to focus. You got to get the base down, and I think that's what we did last year with the group. And this year, you can tell by just by Emmett and Ramir, especially if you guys watch those guys in practice, how they're focusing on making guys miss at the second level. It's key for us.
So we've heard Coach Rule talk a lot about it, about how much he likes his group and a lot of depth in that room. And guys are competing, battling it out, but they're going to need everybody. They're going to need a lot of different guys in that room. And so Coach Barthel, though, was asked about stacking 1, 2, and 3 and what that looks like.
I think that, my objective right now as the running back coach right now is to make sure we have 3 guys that can go win the game for us. And I think that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're going to have 3 to 4 guys that can go play and win the game for us. That's where we need to be. Let me rephrase that we can win the game with, if that makes sense. And I think that's what we got right now. I think that's what we're working towards. We're really trying to push the tail end of the room with Quentin and Dante and really raise those guys, and they've answered. Dante especially, he's really shown a lot of positive things this camp thus far. So to answer your question, I think it's about getting to game 6. What does that room look like, right? And right now, and making sure the first half of the season we have a solid 1, 2, and 3.
Gotta love that they feel confident that they've got 3 guys that they can go win a football game with. Again, as we've heard this coaching staff say a lot and alluding to it, if the season goes how you want it to, right, it's going to be a long season. And even just the grind of a Big Ten, you got to have multiple guys that you can be able to rely on. And they certainly seem to be really confident in a number of those guys. So Coach Barthel was later asked about, name your top 3 qualities that you're looking for out of running backs to get them on the field and what you want to see most out of those guys.
Well, I think you're looking for 3 characteristics. You're looking for big playability. Right, I don't think you're looking for a guy that can pound the football, right, and 4 yards in a cloud of dust. And then the third part of that would be protection, right? So whether that's one person or that's 3 different people, that's kind of what you need in that room for that 1, 2, and 3. Does that make sense? So I mean, every team in football nowadays usually has 1 to 2 guys. Most average probably have 3. So that's kind of where we're at, and we'll see who that person is, right? We want to make sure that whoever that is, whether it's 1 person or it's 3 guys, that all those elements are covered.
Coach Barthel was asked several questions about Dante Dowdell, the transfer, and, you know, he said that when he first got here in the spring, it was more of, he's still kind of a high school type running back and was relying more on his physicality, not using his eyes as much, and just wanting to use his power for everything, and it was more maybe a short yardage, powerful back, but now he's a guy that they're starting to maybe rely on more multiple down running back. But, you know, he went in to say how much he's evolved and changed. And so he was asked to maybe extend on that a little bit more on Dante and how he's continued to evolve over these last few months. But he went into a great explanation overall on the running back.
You know, I think that he's doing it himself. I think if you guys watch our practice, he runs the ball with a certain demeanor. And I think everyone gets excited about it, right, when he runs that with physicality. So I think he fuels himself off that. What I have to do now is manage, hey, you're not a battering ram. You have to make guys miss in space. You know what I mean? So that's been his focus. At the second level, once I get through in between the tackles, where my eyes got to be. What do I have to do here? Versus, hey, I'm never going to take that ball out of you. I want that ball. I want you to run that ball like that. But you need to, in this conference, you need to be able to make a move at the second level, make guys miss. That's the difference, I think. Last year, we make a couple more guys miss in open space. We can have touchdowns versus, field goals. All right? So that's our key, is getting it to the second level. And that's where he's at. He's learning. But he gets motivated by running the football. That kid loves to run the ball. That's his motivation.
It is fun to watch him run, and that's immediately when you ask anybody about him, that's one of the first things they say about him is how physical he likes to run the football. So great to hear that the overall running back is developing out of Dante there. Final clip we're going to play for you from Coach Barthel. He was asked about just the importance of the running backs being able to catch the football as well.
I think the position itself has changed over the last 10 years about what a running back is. So we have to be able to catch the football out of the backfield. My first couple years as a coach, we emphasized on ball security. To me now, that's an opportunity to get a check down and create an explosive run. That's a missed opportunity if we drop that ball. To me, a drop is just as serious as a fumble, and so we're focused on it this camp. And that's someone asked me that question earlier. What the difference is between this year and last year is we're working on details like that, right? Hand placement on routes. You know what I mean? That's when you first get to a new team, you're not really coaching that with running backs, right? But that's where we're at now as a group. We've kind of excelled the standard. Now we're working on the next phase, the second level, route running. And it's imperative because you can't play at this level and just be a one-dimensional player.
A couple other notables just from Coach Barthel's press conference. He was asked about Ramir Johnson coming off that injury. He said, quote, "The best I've seen him. Just with his focus, his physicality, the way he's running the football, he's determined. The best I've seen him." He was also asked about Emmett Johnson, and just he went on and on about the protection and how much that's grown from Emmett Johnson from a year ago. He said he's a completely different kid, night and day, just how he approaches everything. He wants to be the best, and so just completely different than what he was. And he had learned so much and took away from what he did last year. And we saw Emmett here. We had him on the program last week before fall camp started, and he talked about putting on the weight and understanding that last year, he needed to be stronger and more physical to be able to run at this level. And so that's one of the things that Coach Barthel noted is his physicality and just the technique of the pass protection as well. And then I think that was those were the big talking points there. And Mekhi Nelson, and I didn't include this soundbite, but it was a cool story too. But we're going to hear more about Mekhi coming up when we have Damon Benning on the show coming up in hour number 2. So we'll hear him talk about him later on. But great stuff there from E.J. Barthel, and we're going to talk wide receivers next with Garret McGuire. So 402-413-2400 is that number to text or call in if you want to be a part of the show tonight. But we're going to keep things moving with more of our practice report coming up right after this. And Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. You're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian automotive vehicles in operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play, knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. We just heard from running backs coach E.J. Barthel. We're going to keep it on the offensive side of the ball and talk wide receivers now. Garret McGuire also meeting with the media today, and you could tell he really likes his group too. So we've talked a lot about the wide receivers, and David and I are also going to dive into that here coming up in hour number 2. But just the depth and talent that they have really brought back the experience that they had last year and got last year and some of the young guys, and then the experience that they brought in with Jamal Banks and Isaiah Neyor. It's just, it's, you know, as he said, it's a totally different room because of those two exact things: the experience that some of those young guys gained, being thrown to the fire, and then those two guys coming in and how they've really upped the level of competition and expectations. So we're going to start there. No, we're not going to start there. We're going to start with one of the new guys. So Carter Nelson, #1 recruit in the state of Nebraska, came in as a tight end, but played every sport, just extremely athletic. And we have heard the coaches on the offensive side of the ball when they were chatting with Greg about why they decided to do that, and an opportunity to get him on the field early while he continues to get bigger, stronger, and understanding this offense. So Garret McGuire was asked about what it has done, how much he's enjoyed having him in his room.
Oh, he's awesome. You know, coming from 8-man football, small town, you know, I think I've been most impressed with just how he fits into the room, you know, his personality, his competitiveness. You know, in the recruiting process, we got to watch him play a few times, got to watch him play basketball, and I didn't really realize, you know, how explosive of an athlete he really is, right? Obviously, you see him pole vaulting 19 feet and all that crazy stuff, but, man, he's an explosive athlete. He's dominant on the perimeter, a lot like Janirin when it comes to blocking, but he's a competitor. You know, he wants to compete.
That's awesome. Okay, now we're going to talk about what that experience has done, how much adding those two guys, specifically Isaiah and Jamal, what that's done for the overall group.
I think it's been awesome. You know, those guys haven't shied away. You know, you talk about Jalen Lloyd, who in the last 6 games have 3 TDs of over 50-plus touchdowns. And then, you know, Malachi has the big catch versus Northwestern that helps us win that ball game. But both of those guys, all they've done is just rise to the occasion and competed with the best of them. You know, I think that's the whole room, is just there's a standard that's being raised every single day. And Isaiah and Jamal are kind of leading that charge, both from a physical standpoint but also a mental standpoint.
Again, we're going to hear from Isaiah here coming up in just a few minutes. So, believe what we have next. This was a fun question and answer. So, it was when Coach Glenn Thomas met with the media, he had talked about how the transfer quarterback Jalen Gramstad, how he reminds him of a young Garret McGuire. And Jalen, of course, is the top NAIA player in the country. And this is a cool answer. He was asked about that comparison, and yeah, listen to his response here.
Oh, shoot, he's a way better football player than me. Jalen football is what we call him in the office right now. No, he's got a great, you know, confidence about him, moxie. You can see him already kind of running the huddle. He's got leadership qualities, obviously being a quarterback for so long. He's been impressive in camp.
Can you tell he's a guy who wants to be a coach someday, too?
Yes, absolutely. You know, he was actually it's crazy. I had no idea that this was actually him, but he came to our coaches clinic. And he sat in every coach's meeting. And then after, he pulled a few of us aside and just asked, you know, questions about how to get in the profession, you know, what's the concept type questions. And then next thing you know, he's at our post-grad camp. And I was like, wait, aren't you? So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's a story hopefully we'll be able to chat with Jalen about and get his perspective on all that, because what a neat perspective, neat story, and certainly is adding some knowledge there in that quarterback's room. So that is awesome. Okay, so the final question final soundbite from Coach McGuire we're gonna play for you is, he was asked specifically about going back to his time at Baylor and being in that locker room with Coach Rule and going from year 1 and year 2. Why Coach Rule's able to make such a jump? Why his programs, his teams are able to make such a jump from year 1 to year 2?
The work and then just the toughness, right? Like Coach Rule is a really, really tough person, and that kind of aura gets spread throughout the whole facility. You know, a couple guys have said it, but when you walk in here, it's 4th and 1 every day. And that type of mentality, I think, drives us. And the people that like that are the people that are kind of always been around those OOU type guys. You see the players rise to the top that, you know, have that 4th and 1 type mindset.
Coach McGuire was also asked about just the overall offense and how it's progressing, and he said he's fired up about it, and said the thing that we're doing now, we're playing to players' strengths, playing to those players' strengths, and Coach Satterfield does that at a high level, just getting versatile guys in and able to move guys around, giving different looks, and he's really creative. And Coach Satterfield's got a lot of those weapons to work with, a lot of guys with a lot of different abilities. So cannot wait to see how that all comes together. And it's just been, it's been fun to see the reaction when I asked the players in these post-practice availabilities, ask them about the offense. You can tell they're really excited about it and really excited playing in it. And so it just seems like a different feel from when you hear them talking about this offense this year than maybe in the past. So can't wait to see it all out on the field. The last soundbite we're going to play, I think I said the last one. This is the last one that we're going to hear from Garret McGuire when we expand a little bit more on the depth and, how excited he is about that.
Super excited about the depth. I think that's what's going to make it so much more fun in the season is because, I think our depth chart could change week to week based on how you practice and how you play in the game, and guys are going to be competing for catches at a really, really high level.
There are a lot of guys that, and I mean, we go through all the names, and it's hard to even get them all in when we're talking about all of them because there are so many of them that are returning and then the new guys. But he mentioned Ja'Cory Barney, and that is a name I feel like I've heard. If you rank the names that you've heard the most going back to the start of spring practice up until now, Ja'Cory Barney is one of those guys. I think he just continues to make flashes. And Garret was actually asked about him, and he says he obviously is a special player. He flashes, he pops, but it's just more with him, challenging him to make those routine plays, some of the routine plays. He also was asked about Malachi Coleman, getting him back out there. He said he's over 200 pounds, just continues to need to be more physical, have a more physical presence, but that great to get him back out there. And Janiron Bonner, I also chatted with him too today, and he's a guy that moved back into the wide receiver room, just a jack of all trades, and throughout the spring, he seemed to be a guy, every single practice that I went out there had some kind of big play. And it seems like the quarterbacks really trust him, and he's, just makes plays. And Garret called him, he's a football player and does the things that we want him to do. So there's a lot of, again, a lengthy list. I'll also be curious to see how they utilize Carter Nelson and how much he'll get an opportunity. But, he was asked about him and some of the things that they challenged him on. And he said the biggest things for him is alignment, assignment, and then let the talent take over, because he certainly is a talented guy. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's going to be fun to watch how they're going to get them all in there and get them all involved. But, as he was talking about Coach Satterfield and building this offense and being creative, there's going to be a lot of different looks. And, it's going to keep up the competition because, hey, as he said right there, it's not just, hey, once you earn the job in fall camp, you got to keep it. You got to keep performing in the games. You got to perform throughout practice. And then maybe if there's some freshmen that maybe aren't ready at the beginning of the season, if they keep doing what they're supposed to do, they're going to get on the field. We've seen that time and time again with almost every position group with this coaching staff. We saw it last year, how many freshmen, they're not afraid to play those true freshmen if they're doing things right and, earning that opportunity throughout practice and continuing to grow and develop. And we say it a lot, but that 4-game redshirt rule, still able to utilize that, is just a fantastic rule that you can take advantage of when you have these young players. But I'm excited about that group. I think they're going to be explosive. Okay, Camden, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Which wide receiver do you think leads the offense in touchdown catches?
I think Jamal Banks. I had a class with Banks, and he's a really nice guy, but he's really tall.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's strong, too. So I think just having a wide receiver with that height in the red zone, so say, you're at the 15-yard line, Dylan can just chuck it up to the corner, and usually Banks is going to have the height advantage over the other corner. So,
yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I think Isaiah Neyor is probably a safe bet, and it seems like Ja'Cory Barney's making a pretty big name for himself. But if I had to pick today, I'd probably roll with you and say Jamal Banks. Those are two great gets out of the portal, and just adding to the depth, and a young group that had a lot of got a lot of experience, but still pretty young. And so you add these veteran guys that can really bring along that experience. So, all right, that is our practice report for today, talking running backs and wide receivers. We're going to continue talking fall camp and wide receivers with one of those guys, Isaiah Neyor. We're going to have a conversation with him coming up next. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. More Sports Nightly coming up right after this.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Join the season ticket request list today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for an unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian automotive vehicles in operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly on this Friday night evening. We are talking Husker Fall Camp and hearing from the offensive side of the ball today. Isaiah Neyor is the transfer from Texas. He's out of Fort Worth, Texas, but 6'4", 220, and certainly looks the part. When Jeremiah Searles was out at practice throughout the spring and we had him on the podcast, that was the guy that popped to him, and he is like, that's a guy that looks like he can play at the next level, and certainly was immediately making plays. He is a little bit of a quieter guy, but has already stepped into more of a leadership role, as we heard Garret McGuire saying, both in his press conference and then what he said with us here on our position previews. So he started his career at Wyoming before transferring to Texas, and had a great start at Wyoming, but looking to make a bigger impact here at Nebraska. But I got a chance to chat with him today following practice. Well, we talked to you in the spring, and you're settling in. How much more comfortable do you feel here in Lincoln and with this team?
I'm very comfortable, from the first time that I got here up until now. Things just have been going up. So I've enjoyed my time here and, just getting ready for the season.
You were named that everybody on offense talked about making plays in the spring. Quarterbacks loved throwing the ball to you. How did you build on that when the spring chapter closed to where you are now in fall camp?
Just working on staying consistent, trying to go out there and learn from the things that I can learn from and use that to, better me now. So, yeah, it's fun making plays and all, but I still look for ways to kind of get that edge and, continue stacking on that. So. Yeah.
What goes into that then, trying to find those ways to get that edge?
Just watching film, just understanding what the quarterback is seeing, what the O-line is doing, understanding the plays, and just knowing what to do, when to do them at the right time, and just go out there and execute. So.
Couple of weeks now, almost into fall camp. How do you like the way that the offense has progressed throughout fall camp so far?
We've all gotten closer with each other. We're all on the same page from the when we first got here in the spring. We're still trying to find ways to understand each other, learn each other, and with that happening and then having summer camp, that's kind of really helped us a lot. So I feel like we're at a really comfortable space right now, and we're just looking to improve upon that. So it's really exciting.
With a lot of guys in the wide receiver room that can be playmakers, provide opportunities, how has that competition gone, and how have you guys continued to grow as a group?
It's been really great. We got a really competitive room, and it does nothing but make you play harder. It makes you elevate your game. You got a guy competing, another guy competing. You have no choice but to elevate your game. So I'm excited to go out there and compete with those guys. I'm excited to see what those guys can do, and I'm just excited for the season. So it's going to be really fun.
What about going up against the defensive backs? Give us your perspective on the secondary and the guys in that room.
The defensive backs, they're really good. I enjoy going against those guys. Like I said, iron sharpens iron. When you go against them, you got to find different ways to get open. You got to really pick up on the little things. The little things matter. So them giving me that opportunity to play my best, I think is going to be really beneficial. And, we make each other better. So.
Garret McGuire, I know you talked this spring, the relationship with him, but now that you have even more time with him and especially out on the field, what more have you learned about him and you like playing for him?
He has really high standards, very energetic, and he wants to see the best out of his players. He wants us to go out there and compete at a high level. He wants us to learn from our mistakes, not be afraid to make a mistake, but learn from the mistake and not make them over and over again, and ultimately just have fun. Don't make the game stressful, just enjoy the moment, enjoy going out there and doing this because it's temporary. We're not going to be doing this forever. So, I really like Coach G, and he makes playing the game a whole lot fun. So, yeah.
I asked you about the defensive backs, but what about just overall this defense? How is it going up against them every day?
They make us better. The defense. I feel like going against your own defense is always the hardest because they see a lot of our plays. And like I said, you have to find creative ways to keep making plays because you can make a play now and, you'll have to do it differently in order to make that play happen. So they make us better. All the cornerbacks, the linebackers, everybody. I have a great time going against them. So, yeah.
Coach McGuire was telling me this summer, you and Jamal have come in and been great leaders for this wide receiver room. How has that been for you coming in immediately and being a new guy yourself, but trying to embrace that leadership role and setting that standard for a wide receiver group?
Coming in, my goal was to just kind of learn about the guys, learn from them, understand what the coaches are trying to do, understanding what's going on. And then as time went along, I kind of worked my way up to that leadership role by, just doing things by an example, by, setting a good example for the guys. If I say something, I want to be able to back it up. That way they can, just have something to look up to. So, my goal is to just not to be a big brother to them, but just to kind of, with me having the experience that I've had, just kind of lead them in the right direction, let them know what to do and things like that, and just see them grow. So, yeah.
Give us a perspective of just what summer was like, and then how did you feel about this football team and the potential of it when you guys stepped on the field for fall camp, and then how have you guys lived up to those expectations?
This summer we really worked hard this summer. I think the summer was a success. We learned a lot. We went out there, we competed every day, and we finished really strong. So I think that really helps us grow. And then coming out in fall camp and just being able to have that competitiveness, I think it kind of shows you, with the way we work this summer, it kind of shows you the results show and how what we're doing in fall practice. So we came a long way. Obviously, I wasn't here last year, but you can kind of see the hunger in the team, and they want to make an emphasis on finishing. So I think we've been doing a really good job of that, and we're going to continue to improve.
You've been through some fall camps before. What goes into closing this out the last 2 weeks that a football team needs to be able to do to be ready to go come kickoff?
Just to stay poised and finish strong. Don't worry too much about the moment. Fall back to our training when the time comes, and just to, like I said earlier, just go out there and just be ourselves. Don't make anything up, and just have fun. So I think with us being able to do that, I think we'll be able to get things that we need to get done, and we'll, go out there and do what we have to do.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Again, that was Isaiah Neyor, the wide receiver, the transfer out of Texas. Certainly going to be a big part of this offense this year. I also got a chance to chat with Gabe Irvin. We will bring that interview for you probably on Monday. And I just, he's a guy, if you... I don't know how I'd get it narrowed down to 10, but he would probably be in the top 10 list of best interviews, favorite interviews on campus. And he's just always got such a great perspective. And he's had such a tough road, so much adversity that he's been through. And so just to hear his perspective again today and his approach, and here's a guy that could have transferred, stuck around, believes in what they're doing here and loves it here. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see how he comes off of the injury. And I know it's a process, as we heard. We didn't hear the soundbite from E.J. Barthel, but he talked about it in his press conference. And we've had several conversations about that, about when you come off a major injury like that, it's a process to get back to filling. Even if you're 100% and you've been released, it's still getting back into that game shape. And, he had talked about with me, Gabe said, it's just, I feel like it's such a blessing because I know how quickly it can be taken away, and it's now been taken away from him. So hopefully he can stay healthy, but he looks massive. And, he had put on the weight last year going into last season, and he has maintained it, and he talked about the importance of that. But he looks, looks huge, like a lot of these guys. I mean, and that's another thing that Garret McGuire said too, and we're hearing a lot of these coaches say throughout their press conferences, just the job that Kristen Coggan and Corey Campbell have done, that duo in their both respective staffs, in getting these guys ready to go and putting on the weight, how they're bigger, stronger, faster, but doing it the right way and being able to feel like themselves. I think a lot of these guys just put it on and then don't know how to navigate being that much heavier. I mean, Emmett Johnson told us that it was a process for him feeling normal, but going back to Gabe, he looks the part, and hopefully he can stay healthy, because those are one of those guys that you root for. So we will have that conversation coming up for you here probably on Monday's night show, but really enjoyed chatting with him. And I think, you think about what Gabe kind of runner that Gabe is, and then the kind of Emmett and Dante, and then just Ramir, and they're all different running backs that can all provide different things. And they had talked about how we're competing for the touches, we're competing, but we're also trying to stay connected and embrace one another and support one another. But yeah, we want to compete with each other, but overall they understand that it's going to take the group to do what needs to be done for this offense. Same thing with wide receivers. Just hearing those, it's similar messaging, right? And when that happens, said that a lot here over this last year, when you're hearing what's coming from the top with Coach Rule, and then it continues to trickle down to the position coaches and then the players. And it's a close-knit group, and both the wide receivers and the running backs. And I think there's a lot of talent, and now it's how do you utilize it? How does it all come together on Saturday? So I think Marcus Satterfield's going to have some fun building around some of these playmakers. So good stuff there from Isaiah Neyor. He's a great interview as well. All right, we're going to work in our final break here of hour number 1. We're back with more coming up right after this.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. Computer science student Luke Ferreter won a global competition for being the first to decode passages from an ancient scroll. Using advanced AI, Ferreter became the first in centuries to reveal words from a Greek scroll damaged in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago. The Lincoln native earned a $700,000 cash prize and international recognition for his achievements.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Shelter agents Pete Voles or Brent Ruggo in North Platte, or in Broken Bow, see agent Brent Custer.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly, final segment here of hour number 1. Fast hour, but yeah, fun hour. We haven't talked much Olympics here today. By the way, also, Camden got a question again about the exhibition game for Nebraska soccer. They're taking on Oklahoma here in about 7 o'clock at Oklahoma. I don't think there's a stream anywhere. I've asked the SID, Megan, she said it's not, but they will be live tweeting. They'll be posting all the updates on their social media accounts, but I don't think it's on anywhere where we can listen or watch, so we will just have to keep checking in on that. Get it starting at the top of the hour, and we will have updates for you coming up here in hour number 1. But we have not talked much Olympics today. I didn't watch much today. It was kind of a little bit of a blah day, I guess. I shouldn't say that. That was rude, but not as exciting, I guess, for me personally in watching some of the events that were on. Plus, I was pretty swamped doing a bunch of other things. But I did watch the 400-meter hurdles with Rai Benjamin. I saw him win the gold for Team USA. And I saw that the USA women were up pretty big in women's basketball, so I didn't check in. But that was about all I watched, was a little bit of the track and field. Camden actually watched one of the new events, right? How was that? Breakdancing?
Yeah, so breakdancing's new to the Olympics this year. I think each year that someone hosts the Olympics, they bring their own sport into it. And so France decided that they were going to bring breakdancing into this year's Olympics for the first time. And yeah, I watched a bit of that. I think it was the women competing today. And it was interesting. It seemed like a big party when I was watching.
Okay, so how does that work? I mean, I guess there are judges that judge?
Yes. I think it said panel of 5 judges maybe. But they're scored on a lot of different things that I didn't even know were a thing. So it says there's 3 elements of breaking. The top rock, which are dance moves that are performed while the breaker is standing. And then the down rock, which you can probably guess, is when the breaker's performance is on the floor.
Okay.
And then the freeze, so that's when the breaker holds the pose in an unusual position during the middle of their performance, like if they're on their head, something like that.
Wow. Okay, so if it's France's sport, did France win the gold medal?
They did not. Someone from Japan did.
Wow.
But
did the United States have somebody in that?
Yes, we did. In the round robin, so it's like a tournament of 16 people is how it started. And then you just battle against one another, and then you see who wins. But we got knocked out in the round robin, so didn't advance very far.
Wow. Did not even know. You told me that in the commercial break. I was like, breakdancing? I didn't even know that was part of the Olympics, but fascinating. It's winding down, right? August 11th, the last day. So it feels like it's been going for a while. I don't know. I feel like this Olympics has been longer than normal, but I've been all in from the start. I feel like the last couple of days are going to be a lot to make sure and watch. There's going to be some fun events here to close things out, starting with the men's basketball between USA and France. That's tomorrow at 2:30. So excited about that one. And then, again, USA volleyball, Jordan Larson, Kelsey Cook Robinson, and then Justine Wong-Orantes will be trying to defend their gold from the Tokyo Games. They'll be competing 6 a.m. bright and early on Sunday morning. They'll be taking on Italy. So you getting up for that one, Camden?
Probably not. I got Peacock, though, so, I can watch the highlights or rewatch it later in the day at my own leisure.
Yeah, that's it. I like to. You can just get on Peacock and then just scoot it back. Women's golf, I believe the final round's tomorrow. So I didn't watch that as much. I have not watched that as much as I watched the men. But the women, it's with the golf, it's been so early. It's like in the middle of the night. And then I just have not been able to tune in as much. It didn't work out as much with my schedule watching the women's golf, but a lot of it wrapping up over the weekend. So we will be tuned in closely for that. And we will know if USA women defend their gold, if Jordan Larson's coming back with another gold on Monday when we're back on Sports Nightly. Okay, that is going to do it here for hour number 1. Again, what a fast hour, but we got much more to come. More football talk. Our good friend Damon Benning going to join us here in hour number 2. So we've got lots to talk with him about. So keep it here on Sports Nightly. And Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly coming up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play, knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian Automotive Vehicles in operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Rhonda Miller in Alliance, Stephanie Culver in Holdridge, or Jonna Austin in Fairbury.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Earlier today, Husker football tight end Thomas Fedoni was named to the John Mackey Award watch list. The Mackey Award is presented annually to the nation's most outstanding collegiate tight end. Center Ben Scott was also named to a watch list today. Scott was named to the Remington Trophy watch list for the second straight season. This award is presented to the top center in the nation. Husker soccer has their final exhibition game tonight on the road at Oklahoma. Kickoff is slated for 7 Central. Nebraska softball has added a new piece to their coaching staff today. Allie Light joins the staff as a graduate assistant after she completed her playing career at San Diego State this past spring. Light was the Mountain West Pitcher of the Year in 2023. Plenty of Olympics news and notes once again from today. Let's start with news about Huskers. Axelina Johansson finished 10th overall in the shot put today with a throw of 18.03 meters for Sweden. Elsewhere on the track, American Rye Benjamin won the 400-meter hurdles gold. The U.S. women's basketball team defeated Australia 85-64 to advance to the gold medal game on Sunday. Brianna Stewart led the team with 16 points. And in men's volleyball, the U.S. defeated Italy in 3 sets to win the bronze medal. So as it stands right now, the U.S. leads the medal count with a total of 111 medals, including 33 golds. China is second with 82 medals and also has 33 golds, and Australia is third in gold medals with 18. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich gonna step in back, little G belly action. There's a man wide open. It's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over, block back by Becca, and that does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a 3 on the way. Got it again! Another 3. Williams on fire.
Jazz Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer. You betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's at a strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and look who we have wrangled in to help us out here tonight on this Friday night show. Damon Benning. I know you've been busy. We usually like to call this the Friday Party Show, so you are now joining the Friday Party Show here on Sports Nightly.
That's awesome. I know you guys have a good time, so it's about time I get in on the fun.
Hey, you're about to start making weekly appearances. We've given you some time off, but you better
I can't wait. You know, I'm excited. I'm part of the crew. I need to do my share. I'm excited.
Okay, well, lot to dive into here with you, but let's go back to last week, the open practice, and I ran into you there. How did you feel like that went? What did you take away from that?
Well, it was hard. I mean, and that's even coming from somebody that's watched a ton of practice. It's just, it's hard to kind of digest everything. It's a little bit of a fire hose deal, but I like the pace. I like the fact that multiple guys are getting work. I think they've had interchangeable guys within the certain stations, like the different units, which means for me, like if let's say you're with 3s one day and 2s the next, or 2s one day and then 1s the next, or vice versa, you know, that lets the guys know that practice matters, and you're getting kind of what you've earned. And so I did notice a little bit of shuffling. I like that. Of course, you know, I wasn't as quarterback driven just because I had seen him a fair amount. So I kind of gravitated towards O-line and D-line. And of course I watched a little bit of the secondary, but the interior guys, they've got options. Now there's a few fewer options since last Saturday, but they've got some options there. And so that it's their development that I'm focusing on.
Do you get a sense, 2 weeks into this, how they feel like it's gone so far? Is it gone how they wanted it to go, I guess?
Well, I think so for the most part. Outside of injuries, I think they're so much further along than they were a year ago. It's not even funny. So I know that they have to be encouraged by that. I know they really like this freshman group. So that's exciting for them. And the guys that have been in the program are a year further in development, you know, so there's not a lot to like outside of the injuries. And I think they're pleased up to this point. Okay.
So what was it like for you, the first practice that you go watch and Caleb is out there? Has it changed your perspective at all on how you watch practice?
So actually not. And I think it saves our relationship, right? Because I watch it like a coach and not as a parent. So, you know, I pay some attention to him, and you know, he's had such a good off season that I feel pretty good about his progress and his development. You know, he's playing at field safety, and it's going to be, Hartzog probably and Buford, who will be pretty interchangeable. And then it's going to be between he and Boodle, I hope. So, you know, that's encouraging. Running with that second unit this early is encouraging for me. And so I kind of left him alone. I did want to see some of the younger cornerbacks, you know, Mari Sanders, Tarver, Jeremiah Charles. You know, Buford was playing some corner. That just shows you his versatility. But outside of that, after I let him know that I wasn't just paying attention to him, I went down on the other end and watched the big guys.
Because you have told me before, even before Caleb was in that room, that is where you naturally are drawn to watching practice, right? So are you having to make yourself not pay attention to the defensive backs now?
That's a fantastic point, and you have a great memory. I do watch the back end, especially with these guys. It's so important in this 3-3-5 defense. But you're right. I have to be very specific, right? Because you've seen me at practice. A lot of times that's the end I'll stand on. That's the group that I follow. They got my favorite, Benning and Gifford over there. So I kind of I loved watching kind of their tenacity and tempo. But I am making a concerted effort. I have a new man crush this year. It's Coach Dvorak. So that second level is going to get a lot of my attention.
Oh, that's great. How do you feel like that corner opposite Tommy Hill, how that's going? Do you feel like there's maybe a clear one yet, or is it still a battle?
It's going to be a battle, I think. It's about consistency. You know, who can do well the most amount of times without the ebb and flows or highs and lows. So I think that's what they're really going to focus on. I like Charles. I like Tarver. He's a little dinged, but I obviously like Buford. I think he's got a lot of ability. I think Amari Sanders is a guy that moves fairly well, but still one of those young guys. They definitely have some options, but I think ultimately, especially for this defense, it's going to boil down to consistency. And you know how coaches are. They play the guys that they trust.
Not just for defense, but for really, I guess, for both sides of the ball. At what point do you really want to start, okay, these are our ones, and let's work with the ones and getting those groups together more consistently?
You're probably still a ways out. I would say maybe you're probably about 10 days out, 12 days out from where that'll start. So you still have probably about another week. You'll see another few live periods where I think they'll let guys scrimmage and win and lose jobs. I say that because it's a two-way street. But I still think you have some time. You have a general idea, and you're kind of waiting for that next crop to say, okay, if we need some depth, or we've got to get a guy ready, or we want to move somebody, let's take a look at. And you probably only have a handful of those guys anyway. So I think they're closer than we think, but you still leave it to pretty good open competition here for about another week.
You mentioned Rob Dvorak, and when we had him in here in the summer, loved talking to him, and I got a sense that even though you lose Nick Henrich and Luke Reimer, I get a sense that he feels like there's probably more talent in this room. Is that safe to say? You feel like maybe as a group, I know experience and talent's a different thing, but you feel like he's got a good group here that can maybe really continue to elevate that position?
Yeah, I like that distinction too, right? Because they are two completely different things. This time it may be both, though. We'll see. You know, Bear, his development has been outstanding. Bullock makes kind of my old comer but newcomer that I want to watch, because I think a year further into this system, another year playing on the second level, he's got really good athleticism. I think he's tough. So just the feel for that position, he's a guy that I'm interested in seeing. You know how I feel about Javen Wright. He's got a brand new body. He may have graduated to the all-bus team where I let him get off.
Right?
Certainly behind Jamari Butler and maybe Cam Lenhart, but there's not a few other guys that I would let get off the bus before Javen Wright. So I'm proud of the way that Buddha's got himself physically ready for the physicality of this conference. And, of course, I'm a huge Shavers Jr. guy. So I love Coach Dvorak. I love his teaching style. I like how he's like that ABC guy. He's going to always be coaching. And he's a great communicator. He's just soft-spoken enough, but has enough no-nonsense to him where I think he's a great blend. I just think he's interesting. And he's a guy that I like to try to get as much information from as possible. And he's got some fellows to work with there, too, so it's going to be fun.
You just gave me a fantastic idea. Let's name the top 5 all-bus team for Nebraska football.
I'm going to let Jamari get off first. Cam Lenhart is in that group. Buddha Wright is in that group.
Hey, I just talked to Gabe Irvin. Little
Pocket Hercules. Yeah, Musclehead is definitely in that group. But he's such a nice person.
Yeah.
And not that the aforementioned are, because Buddha's a great guy, but he definitely has a mean streak. Gabe is like, I'd let Gabe babysit for me. You know, I don't know about the other guys.
How about Deshaun Singleton?
Yeah, so if you ask me about a guy who plays and comes off the most different from their real personality, it's definitely Singleton. He doesn't give you a ton outside of he's not like a big fluff guy. Like, he's not asking about breakfast and, what's your favorite meal or how's chem class. He chooses his words wisely, but he really invests in the young guys. And you get in there, and he's a really nice guy. He's kind of jovial. He'll joke a little bit. But when you watch him practice and play, he is all business. There's guys like Giff and some of these guys, like Jamari Butler, like what you see is kind of exactly what you get. Singleton's got a little – he's got a little, I didn't see that coming to him. So he probably is in that category.
MJ Sherman might have to be on that list.
Yeah, I really like MJ Sherman, especially now that I know that he could actually fight for about 8, 9, 10 rounds. He has really gotten himself into elite-level shape. He's always been a big, strong guy. But now I know that he wouldn't just have to knock you out in the first round. Like, he looks like a guy, and he's bought in. He's going to be an interesting guy to watch because there's so many guys that could play at that outside linebacker spot. I think to stay sharp and still encourage the young bucks has been pretty cool to watch, and that's kind of spearheaded by MJ.
The other two that I might have on that list, too, be one of those two wide receivers, Jamal Banks or Isaiah Neyor. They are also guys that I think look the part if you're talking about just getting off the bus.
I would say Banks over Neyor for muscle, but Nair's build, given what he could do, he's kind of in the freaky category. He's got probably 72, 73-inch wingspan. He's all legs. And when he moves, he's deceptively fast. You watch him and you think, how is he pulling away from guys? But he routinely does. He's got the great catch radius. He probably has the most upside of those two, but Banks is the guy that I would call Steady Eddie.
We just sit here and listed a lot of those guys, and Greg and I have had this conversation a lot on Sports Nightly. I go back to the other day when we had Media Day, and I'm sitting around and I'm looking at all these guys that they have their nameplates sitting out, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of good football players on this team. It just seems like it just feels a lot different in terms of the amount of talent and the depth, not just the depth at a lot of these different positions. It feels different in how this football team is built, I guess, going into this season.
Yeah, that's a great call. Right after I hopped the fence to talk to you, I stopped to talk to some of the coaches, and almost to a man, they just talked about a difference from year one to year two. And that's kind of where I got the early comment about how much they love this freshman class. They think that it's really good and those guys are prepared to go to work. And, a couple of the guys were like, and then you add the competition that we have at some of these spots, whether it's O-line, D-line, wide receiver, even in the secondary to some degree, it's just night and day. Remember 2 springs ago or 2 spring games ago, we couldn't piece together an offensive line. Now, the 2 deep looks pretty good. And I get it. The Teddy Prohaska thing is especially on a personal note, is devastating. And you could tell Coach Rule felt the effects of that as well when he had to give the information on a day and when she wasn't even going to address the media. But for the most part, you're still able to play 8 or 9 guys, and that's a good problem to have.
Okay, can't believe that I've gone this long and haven't even asked you about the new defensive backs coach, John Butler. He was impressive meeting with the media the other day. What has been your take on him and what he's been able to provide to this defense? It seems like he is just doing everything that you need to do given the situation to be able to come in and fit in with this group.
Yeah, there's 2 things I love about him. He's no nonsense and he loves teaching, right? And he's cool because – he basically told the guys, hey, give me a little grace here. I'll get to the personal traits and getting to know you guys as individuals as time goes on. Right now, we've got to do this. And that's teach and install. And so bear with me on that. And I love the candor and kind of the putting it out there, and I'm paraphrasing to some degree. But right now, he's got to coach football. And he'll have he'll get to know the guys as camp wears on. They're over in the dorms together. But I like those open lines of communication because it sets the standard. And the byproduct of that is everybody's got a clean slate. He doesn't have to think to himself, well, if a guy has a certain kind of day, he doesn't have to think, well, man, last year he wouldn't have done this. Or if he does this and he said, well, last year that would have been – so he doesn't have to worry about a frame of reference. He just gets to go by what he actually sees. And I think for this group this year, given his skill sets, I think they've really caught a break there with a guy that appears to be a fantastic teacher.
Okay, we've already talked a lot, but we really haven't even talked the offense. You good for one more segment with this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to work at a break here on Sports Nightly, but we got more with Damon Benning coming up right after this.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Husker fans, get ready for another thrilling season at Hibner Stadium with the reigning Big Ten champion Nebraska soccer team. Season tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to support the Huskers as they go head-to-head with some of the top teams in the country, including Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Duke. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Dory Milberger or Darren Frazier in Omaha, or agent Terry Dingwell in Fremont.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. We continue chatting with our good friend Damon Benning, who's kind enough to help us out on this Friday Sports Nightly. DB, you like this cold weather? I was joking with you today. I texted you. I saw you live. It looked like you were at the Purdue game when you forgot your coat on the sideline.
Yeah, you can't take me anywhere. It was like, yeah, I leave the house. It's dark. It's in the 5 o'clock hour. It's like 50 degrees. I was not gonna. I'm right by the 17th hole out at Indian Creek, so I'm at the bottom of a little swale, and it got the best of me yesterday. It wasn't gonna get me today. I broke down and I wore pants and had my little puffy vest. I was good to go today. But I do love the weather. This lets me know that fall, like real fall, where they play the best sport in the world, which is football, is getting ready to go.
I walked outside. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, man, it is.
And you're kind of a weather baby. I mean, you have to tough it a lot better than I do because you're out amongst it. But, man, the way that you're prepared with your 18 clothing options is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I cannot stand to be cold. Hey, have you been into the Olympics? Are you an Olympics guy?
Yeah, I am. So, you know, I just got in this argument about an hour ago with the U.S. 4x1 team. I'm thinking, you guys are mad that they won bronze. They had the worst exchange of the Olympics thus far, and they're running without the fastest guy on the planet. Like, I don't know whether we're spoiled or it's cool that we demand excellence, but sometimes we just need like a little levity. I'm a huge Olympics guy.
Is track your favorite, or what's your favorite sport to watch?
I would say either that or wrestling. I'm not as big a Greco-Roman fan as I am freestyle, but I love wrestling. I obviously like basketball and volleyball, which has been nothing short of exciting. How about the volleyball team? Like a couple nail biters, and it's bright and early on 6:30 a.m. on tomorrow. Or is it tomorrow? Is it
Sunday.
Yeah.
The basketball game's tomorrow.
It's happening early for volleyball, so I'm definitely dialed.
How about the matchup between France and USA for men's basketball?
Yeah, so here's the thing. You know, the United States team is pretty petty, so I'm sure that they'll look forward to giving it to Wembanyama as he came into the league and practically took it by storm. I could see some of the old heads, especially with the Olympic rules, ready to try to take it to Wembanyama and company. But it's a good matchup for France because of the way that the U.S. plays pick and roll. If France shoots it well, all bets are off.
Okay, so I asked this the other day. We had this debate and had some folks chime in, but I was asked this question. If you had 4 years, unlimited resources and training to be able to make an Olympic team, what would be the sport?
Oh, that's fantastic. 4 years and unlimited training?
And resources, yeah. What sport do you feel like you could maybe make?
The one that involves the least amount of athleticism. So probably something to do with shooting, like either archery or, guns, even though I'm afraid. Like if I didn't have to hit anybody, I would probably do something like that. If it involved like kinesthetic movements, you know what? It's a brutal sport. I think it's arguably one of the toughest in the world. I probably would go with wrestling.
I said get me in on that race walking.
You know what? The mall walkers, I like that. But I'm a fast walker. I'm not a great fast walker.
Oh, man. Have you watched
it? You left me in the dust at Minnesota. That's right.
Yeah.
You can definitely scoot.
Yes, I can. And give me some training on how to, swing the hips and keep your feet on. I think you have to, there's a rule like, I don't know. I saw there was a penalty box the other day. You've got to keep your feet on the ground at the same time or something like that. There's something about how you walk, but if you get me trained up on that, I feel like I could maybe get there.
I thought it was out of spite because I asked to get dropped off on the wrong end of the stadium and you knew better. So I'm like, she's just going to try to leave me out
Listen,
here.
this is the show you're on, not me. I got to get you on the air.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Those were the days.
Good thing for you is we have 4 games at home, so you don't have to worry about, getting rolling on the road here to start the season.
I don't know what's going to, I don't know. Godspeed to me.
Okay, all right. Let's get back to some football talk because I wanted to dive into the offense a little bit with you, but another great perspective you have is on the kicking situation and kicker and with Tristan Alvano. How do you feel about that spot and just even with him being brought along slowly about the guys behind him? They seem to like those guys pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really good competition, and it's good for Tristan as he continues to – and he'll be fine with, it's just a little minor groin deal, and he got it cleaned up a couple of weeks ago, and it's probably not where they want it right now, but he can come back at any time with those camp numbers. So I feel good about that. He was down around the gate area, kind of on the fan side, which I imagine he has to be from a rules standpoint. But he stays close, and as he'd like to say, dialed in. I think punting and punt returns are the thing that Nebraska's got to really elevate themselves in, where they can use punting and the punt return game as kind of a weapon. If you're going to be good defensively and get guys off the field, you want that punt return to be pretty good. And late in the season when the weather isn't great and maybe the ball isn't traveling like you want it to, or you play some of these elite level defenses that they'll see, especially in the second half of the season, you want your punting game to be sound too. So I think those are two areas that they'll continue to work diligently in.
Okay, running backs. A lot of talent in that room.
Got a host of them, don't they?
What?
They got a host of them, don't they?
They do, but we said the same thing a year ago, and look what happened. Yeah. So,
good point.
But the guys how they're working so far, how do you like how they're stacking up? I
do. They've got good depth. I think they can play four. I think you can play Emmett, Ramir, Gabe, and some and I think Dowdell is probably the fourth right now. And listen, you know how much I left Saturday, and this is weird, but if I wanted some wiggle, I actually kind of like Mekhi Nelson. Now I know he's young, but his burst was a little different, and it's interesting to see a little bigger, stronger Ives. He's obviously spent some time in the weight room. He doesn't have those slight legs. He looked to be on a good, sturdy frame. And so we'll see if Mazuka can continue his ascent. But I think the goal is to have three in the rotation. If you can go four, that's fantastic. You're starting to get into some uncharted waters for some of these coaches at the university the last 10, 15 years, where it was kind of a 1.5 or a 2-horse race. If they can keep four guys in the mix, that would be fantastic.
It feels like overnight the wide receiver room went from, because of all the injuries last year, questionable to being one of the strongest position groups or one of the deepest.
Yeah, we blinked.
Is that a fair point?
We don't even talk about two guys that could easily be playing, and that's IGC and Alex Bullock. Right? It's like what about Lloyd, and what about Banks, and what about Neyor, and what about Ja'Cory Barney, and what about Malachi Coleman, and it's like we just rattle off. There's Janarian Bonner who's going to be playing an integral role. There's pass catching tight ends like Borkature and Thomas Fedoni. It is all this. There aren't a ton of balls to go around. There's only one, but depth is a word I would definitely use with this wide receiver / tight end group.
Okay, and then offensive line. The unfortunate news with Teddy, how concerning is that for you? You feel like, okay, we've got a battle, and you've got two guys that have played some experience there with Turner and Teddy, and then now you're down to Turner and then the guys that are going to be competing behind him. Is that concerning, or how do you, I guess, view that now?
I think that the way that if I'm them, you got to look at it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
The way a fan might look at it is different. I think the coaching staff is like, hey, you've got an opportunity. Gunnar Gatula, let's go. Segrin, you got a chance. You're up. Turner Corcoran's got to stay healthy. And there's a ton of pressure. But if you want to embody kind of what you talk about as a unit, which is, kind of that A-4-1 for all for one for all, right? And if they want to move collectively as a unit, somebody's got to seize that as an opportunity, whether it's Canuck or, can Jacob Hood get those ankles ready to go? With Segrin, I mentioned Gatula, those guys, you have bodies. It just may be baptism by fire.
Okay, so obviously I know going into this, and even just talking with the players throughout practices, it is incredible how the different feel about how they feel about this offense and the confidences they have in this offense than the tune that we heard a year ago and throughout the season last year. But as fans, as people that are watching and not in those rooms, what are realistic expectations for this offense?
Yeah, that's a good distinction, right? I think last year it was, you needed to have faith. Hey, just hang in there. We can get this done. Now you look at those quarterbacks and you're like, oh, there's some hope, right? And you like to have both hope and faith, but I think the practical application of what they've been able to see is, we have some options and we can move the ball through the air. And I think everybody feels better. It helps the offensive line, and you may think, well, gosh, pass pro, I'd much rather run block than pass pro. But with fewer in the box, it makes run blocking a little more advantageous. If you're out on the edges with perimeter blocking and you come out in a similar formation, you're not as predictable. That with some of the arm talent that's been displayed at the quarterback spot, that you're always open. Like you're not, there's always an opportunity with those guys' ability to extend plays that you can make a play. And I think just the fluid and the consistency in play designs has probably been the biggest thing. You're not going from Sims to Harburg to Purdy. This is the style of offense that we want to run, and these are the quarterbacks that are utilizing that system. So I think the consistency and the continuity has been as big as anything else.
Okay, just got a few more minutes left here with DB, but one of the other questions that we seem to get a lot of, and people wondering, those single digits, right? There's 5 that are open. I feel like Jamari Butler is a shoe-in, but there's a lot of other guys that could potentially get those other 4. Who are you leaning towards maybe getting those other single digits?
Oh, that's tough. I do like the Jamari Butler call. I think that one is pretty good. I think Banks is a viable candidate for a single digit. He's a work warrior.
Tommy Hill, does Tommy Hill get one?
If he wants it. He kind of likes his number. He's interesting. He may pass. I could see T. Hill just like, let's give it to somebody else. But he definitely can. He's been a little dinged. I don't think that'll hurt him from the voting standpoint, but for sure, the 2 that I mentioned, I would also, boy, this is going to sound strange, but maybe McHale. I kind of like his work. Is there another guy in the secondary that isn't a single? Oh, Malcolm Hartzog.
Malcolm Hartzog or Marquise Buford.
Yeah, Buford's got such the infectious personality.
Yeah.
He missed a lot of time early in spring. Would Buf do? I could see that. I could see 2 of them in the secondary for sure between Buford and Hartzog. He's going to command single digits, 5 if you count Tommy. That's crazy because Singleton and Giff already own 2.
Wow. Well, it was the case for the linebackers a year ago with John Bullock, Nick, and Luke.
Yeah. That's. It'd be nice if an offensive guy could get one. Like, come on, Banks.
Yeah. Okay. So
I could see Fedoni if you wanted it.
Yeah, and another big question too. And Greg asked me this the other night. What if a quarterback gets it?
Yeah, that whole 15 thing's gonna be interesting, isn't it? I don't think Dylan really wants to come off of that. So we'll see how they. He's been very diplomatic up to this point. We'll see what happens with the old number 15.
I feel like Malachi Coleman would be one that he'd give it up, but then also he has told me from the start. He told me last summer that that's a goal of his to eventually one day maybe get a single digit. So I feel like he's not as tied to his number as Dylan is.
Yeah, I like that kind of the glass half full approach. You may be right.
So we'll see. All right. Did we miss anything?
It's as comprehensive as it gets. You're running the show.
Well, I appreciate it. Appreciate you helping us out. Great stuff as always. And you're in the regular rotation now, so we'll be hitting you up a lot more. But man,
let's go batter up.
3 weeks.
I'm done with practice at 4:30 all next week too. So how about that? I'm at your disposal.
All right, we will get you back on, and we got to at some point be able to take fan questions because people always want to ask you questions. But 3 weeks. How about that? 3 weeks from 3 weeks from this Saturday, we're kicking this off.
It's you, me, and Dupree. Let's go.
I should ask you this though. One more thing: scrimmage. What are you looking for in the scrimmage? First scrimmage of the fall camp coming up tomorrow.
It's easy. It's 2 things. Number 1, taking care of the football and taking it away. How's that? Like, what's that yin and yang? And the other thing is tackling in the open field. If you want to play in this defense, you got to get guys to the ground out in space, and it's a lot tougher with some of this athleticism out there.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing your thoughts on that coming up next week on wherever we chat with you and catch up with you. Damon Benning, appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Anytime.
All right, we got to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. More to come right after this.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting Major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Thanks again to Damon Benning for helping us out here tonight. Always love chatting with DB. We covered a lot of different stuff, one of those being the Olympics and the 4x100, which the U.S. had a horrible exchange on their relay today. That I did watch that, Camden, you were asking me, and it was a horrible exchange on their first, and then they were way behind. They were without Noah Lyles, who won the 100-meter gold medal and then finished bronze. His specialty is the 200-meter, and he had got bronze and had COVID while he ran that. And I just, on my timeline, came across an article that said his coach had said that Noah had 102-degree fever when he won bronze in the 200. So that's, wow. I don't know how, I haven't seen much, but Camden, have you seen any backlash from people saying, well, why was he out there at all, putting in other people at risk if he had COVID? Because we chatted about how Till Steinforth got into the Olympics, got to compete in the Olympics because he was an alternate, and one of the guys that was competing for Germany had COVID, so he didn't get to go. So that's how Till got the nod. So I'm not sure how Noah was able to get out there, but I don't know. Have you seen much backlash on that?
I did initially. I think I was most confused, like you were talking about, how the Germany person wasn't able to run with COVID, but then Noah was able to run. Like, is it just by country that they have these rules for? Like, did Germany's rules state that if you tested positive, you can compete, but for the U.S., it was something different? I don't know. That's kind of where I was confused.
Well, he won the gold with 102, or won the bronze. That's still pretty impressive with 102 degree fever. I've reached out. I've texted people that might know from Oklahoma. I've texted people from Nebraska. I'm looking on the social media. I cannot find any update on soccer. It's final exhibition game, so at least it's not a real game. The season opener is a week from last night, so this coming Thursday. But I have not found any updates. Have you had any luck?
Nope. Someone even responded to the tweet that Nebraska put out earlier saying there was a game, asking for an update. So I think a lot of people are curious what's happening, but no real updates yet.
Again, the 6th ranked team of the country, their final exhibition tune-up, they're at Oklahoma, but doesn't appear that there are any streaming availabilities from the Oklahoma side of it, and they're not on the radio. Someone had said that, not on the radio, and I'm not seeing any stats either. So if we get it before the end of the show, we'll pass it along. But as of right now, we have no update from anywhere. So I'm sorry. We will maybe get one in the next 5 minutes so we can pass it along. But as of now, we have no idea what's going on down there in Norman. All right, we're going to work in our final break. When we come back, we're going to talk some winners and losers of the week. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you can use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings, very possible. Playoffs, highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates, not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
The 2024 Nebraska football season is here, and we need you to be a part of the Sea of Red Memorial Stadium this fall. A limited number of Husker football single-game tickets are on sale now and are only available while supplies last. Don't miss out on any of the action this season by getting yours before it's too late. To purchase your Husker football single-game tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Final segment here of this Friday night edition of Sports Nightly. And as always, we like to close out our Friday shows with winners and losers of the week. It's just me and Camden. So we've just got a couple to discuss today, but I think we're on the same wavelengths here. You want to start with winners or losers, Camden?
Let's do winners.
Okay. Who you got? Winner. You can start.
Okay. I am going with Steph Curry. after his performance against Serbia yesterday. He kind of had an okay Olympics up to this point. I think his high in a game was like 12 points, but he started off on fire. I mean, both teams were on fire in that first quarter, and he just couldn't miss, and then he kept it up towards the end as well. He finished with 36 points, which was one off tying the single-game Olympics record set by Carmelo Anthony. So he was definitely huge to get the U.S. into the gold medal game.
Yeah, they had to have him. I mean, if he doesn't play like that, they're probably not in the gold medal game. He kept them in it, but yeah, good one there. Okay, I'm going to give it to the Nebraska Broadcasters Association. Greg talked about this last night, but he does not like to talk about himself. But on Wednesday, he was awarded the Chairman's Award recipient, and I know it meant a lot to him. We put out a post on our social media on the Huskers radio network, but yeah, it says, congratulations to our very own Greg Sharpe, being named the Nebraska Broadcasters Association's 2024 Chairman's Award recipient. Your dedication to the state of Nebraska and broadcasting is second to none, GBR. So yes, congratulations, Greg, and shout out to the Nebraska Broadcasters Association for awarding him the Chairman's Award. So that is my winner for the week. Okay. We'll move over now to the losers because we have similar losers. So you can go first.
All right. So my loser is going to be Deion Sanders, obviously the Colorado football head coach. Today in a press conference, he refused to answer a question from a local CBS reporter just because he doesn't like CBS. And so basically, CBS came out with an article, not written by this guy asking the question, that Sanders is like the second worst coach in college football. And he obviously has seen the article, and people are thinking that that's why he didn't answer the question. So
it was such a weird exchange. Like, the guy just wanted to ask a question, and he just kept saying, well, why don't you like us? Why are you here if you don't like us? You obviously don't like it. It was such a... Again, I mean, I guess basically what we should come to expect, but it was just a little bit bonkers of an exchange that you don't expect to see at a press conference. He's like, why, if you don't like us, why are you here? So, yeah, good one. I'm going to keep it with the Colorado theme, and we talked about this earlier in the week, but the social media team put together a clip that was clearly edited and had quite the edit and said darts only. And we're getting, I think it was all in good fun. It ended up being a huge trend, and so maybe it's a bit of a win for them too, but it's pretty funny when it came out, and just the way that people have been poking fun a little bit at the original video that was edited so harshly that it was clearly not the same throw. And it went from Shedeur Sanders to a touchdown, and it was two different plays completely that they put together, and they posted darts only, and then it took off. It's taken social media by storm. It became the trend this week. A lot of different college teams and professional teams all got in on the action, kind of poking a little bit of fun at Colorado. Oh, I might have gotten an update here. Let's see here. In the closing seconds, we're at halftime. Scoreless at half in Norman between Nebraska and Oklahoma in the final exhibition for Nebraska soccer. So we'll have the update for you coming up on Monday. Full show ahead coming up on Monday. Thanks so much, Camden, for helping us out all week and for driving the show with me here tonight. And have a great weekend, Husker Nation. We'll see you on Monday here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota.